Okay. So for everybody who has just jumped on, I've only just started the recording, so I apologize for that. So I'll just give a quick run back. To get up our demo screen, all we're going to do is hold that bottom corner until the screen pops up. If I've got time at the end, I'll actually do it from scratch for you, so that you've got what I've got in front of me. So there's a couple ways that we can do this. I'm more inclined to share my screen and show you a PowerPoint, or if you'd prefer, I can do it on the screen. It's going to look very similar, but for the recording, I think if I share screen, it's going to be a little neater because who knows if both of these are recording. So let's get that up, and we're going to use this one. Can somebody just let me know if you can see that PowerPoint?
Yeah, you just need to do the in the view slideshow so that we can actually see it, not with all the.
Yeah.
Yep, perfect.
So, oh, of course, it's gone right to the end. So these are the actual slides. So some of them are photographs because the PowerPoint actually hasn't been created yet. So when we've got our welcome screen up, this is when everybody is coming in. We're introducing ourselves one-on-one. We're getting their names, figuring out how they know the host, all that kind of thing. Very informal, very chatty. You want to come across as a human while we're there for a job, making sure that people know that you're one of them. It's a lot less intimidating to be in front of somebody who is kind and warm and open. Obviously, using your nerves to yeah, try not to let that get in your way because you're about to have fun. You're about to have 2 hours with these people. You want to get to know them. You want to ask lots of questions, be curious and be kind. So our very first screen, it says welcome. And our very first line is actually saying what brought you here today. So for me, I actually say welcome, hello, thank you so much to our host for putting this on today. A little bit about the host, whether they've just bought their machine, whether they've never seen a Thermomix, all that information you kind of prized out of them when you were doing your bookings. It's nice to kind of give that back so people have a little bit of an idea of how much you know the host, and it can help them settle in as well. So, asking the question, you can follow the slide. If you have your own language, then of course, chuck that in. But I actually say, like, apart from peer pressure, giving that little icebreaker, what brought you here today? Starting from one side, usually starting from even the host, you can ask them, what are you wanting to get out of today? But if you're asking what brought you here today, starting with your guests and working along. So I actually did a demo today, and I said, apart from peer pressure and a knife point, what brought you here today? Everybody had a giggle, and one lady was like, I have a TM6. I was never given a demo. My consultant disappeared. I don't think I'm using it properly. I was like, perfect. As we go through today, I'll make sure that I cover all the questions that you've got. The next lady, she's like, well, I have a TM5, but I was actually gifted it. So I also didn't get a demo. I was like, perfect. So we're going to show you similarities, what the TM7 now has on top of that, but also making sure you're getting the most out of your machine. And we went through each by each. For everybody who is brand new, the QR, so it says, let's check in. Your QR is going to be generated inside your demo booking. So if you've got a cooking experience booked into the hub, if you keep scrolling further down, there's going to be a nice QR code. For me, I actually screenshot that and have it as a file on my phone. I have consultants in my team who actually print it, and they either have it at the front of the demo, pass it around for people to use, or I've actually seen individual people put it on the inside of the folder. So when you've got your TM7 folders, just on that inside, they've put that QR there. Completely up to you and how you work. Because for me, I'm not printing it 7 times and putting it in folders. But you find what works for you. I just show my phone with the screenshot in my photos, and people check in from there. You have the chance to do that here, but if it doesn't feel right for you, of course, getting to know how you want to do it, you may choose to do it closer to the end. Just be wary that if people leave, you're going to miss out on checking in them in. So if anybody looks like they're going to have to rush off, remembering to get that QR check-in. You only have until midnight on the day of the event. So it is time sensitive, and you want to get their details as well. My Mix Rewards, they have the ability to sign up to that as well. So with My Mix Rewards, they're going to get a welcome voucher, they're going to get birthday vouchers, and they're also going to collect points for money off vouchers. It's free to join, and that QR check-in has it all there. So one shop, get it all done. Are you ready to see the magic of Thermomix? Again, if you're feeling a little bit nervous, you haven't got it all stuck in your head, just reading the points is going to get you through. So with this slide, that one is a clickable video. So I did a turbo tip for the Southwest Queensland page earlier, or last week. Gosh, where's time gone? And I kind of pinpointed some things that this video is showing. So while it's got lots of talking, and it's actually quite hard to hear depending on the echo-ness of the kitchen. If it's a really big kitchen, you can barely hear anything. But you can kind of step through it with them and highlight some things that you're noticing. So getting them to stand up, getting them to come over to your TM7 is not only going to get them engaged, it's going to get them a little interested, and it's going to stop the one in the corner who's like this, who didn't want to be there today. It's going to get them out of their seat and going to get them engaged in your presentation. So what I'll do, let's get that up here. So the audio is not going to be very good.
For over 140 years.
Can you see that side?
Have been
Yep.
driven to advance everyday life.
So as you're going through, you can see some of the super older models. You can see the brand new one. You can see the app working.
You know, there's a volume on that too, don't you, Dorothy?
Yeah, it's just because it's over on that
No,
computer.
that's okay. Just so
Yeah.
you know, because some people might not realize.
Yeah, so I can show you that. So if we're in here, there's a little half volume. It stays on half, and all you have to do is pump that up.
To you, our customer. You'll see it in the eyes of our more than 100,000 determined people. Our passion for delicious food, spotless homes, next level technology, high standards, and sustainability is what drives us. For over 140 years, we've been reinventing ourselves. And now we're taking another leap forward with our most advanced Thermomix ever. At Forvet, we empower people to ignite their passion every day.
Okay. So there is lots of information in there, and depending on how confident you're feeling, you can just let it just go. You don't have to highlight things. People are going to pick up on the information. But what this video is really showing us is the longevity of this company. We're not a brand new appliance that's just burst out of nowhere. We've been around for a really long time. We've been trusted for a really, really long time. We are constantly evolving. We're constantly innovating. And for some people, that's going to be a huge thing because it's something you can trust. It's something people have trusted for a really long time. And it gives us a little bit of oomph behind the company we work for. So obviously, depending who is in front of you, kind of gauging what might be important to them. Did you know that we also have another product, the Cobalt range? Did you see that like over 140 years, we've only had X amount of Thermomixes. In the last 20 years, we've only had 4 models. So it's not like the iPhone. We're not changing every single year. Our products can be trusted, and they're in homes globally. We're everywhere. So you don't need to spend a heap of time on this stuff. It's really just introductions, but knowing that you can actually use those videos to your advantage, I think takes the pressure off of you. And the way I like to think about it, if you are somebody who doesn't like to be watched, or you feel a little bit put out by being in front of a crowd of people, getting people up to look at that video, it's taking the pressure off of you because they're now watching the screen. So it gives you a chance to get a drink, kind of relax into it, because at the end of the day, this is your job now. This is something that you've chose to do, and you're only going to get more and more confident as we go. So using the tools to take the pressure off. So this is going to be one of our most important slides in the entire demo, because this is where we are going to get to know every single person and why they need a Thermomix. If you ask anybody, they will say, I don't need a Thermomix, I'm just fine. You ask them what's important to them, and you're going to find a need in their life that the Thermomix is going to fill. There are going to be stubborn people, and that is completely fine too. By the end of the cooking, you'll probably see that the cogs are turning a little bit, and it takes some people time. There's a small percentage of people who will buy something the first second that they see it, and we have to be patient with the people who aren't quite ready. So, what is important to you? This is our time, health, energy, and money. So, trying to tease out our T, H, E, and M, finding out who is in front of you, and how you can serve them with today's demo. So, is there anybody who hasn't? So, you've all done onboarding. So, you should have gone over the THEM. If it's something that you are not super up to spec on, there are plenty in the Mix Academy of courses to go over that. And it's good just to get a kind of grasp on the people and who they are, and how you can actually serve them. Because, yeah, that's what we are doing. So, is there anybody who is feeling brave? Does anybody want to talk to me?
I'm just replying to Brenda's question. She actually asked, how do you sell the idea of a thermi to the basic cooks, e.g. meat and veg and potatoes people? So I was just giving her a little bit of feedback there, that asking them questions, if that's the case, how many pots and pans do they have using in their kitchen to be able to get that all done?
Yeah.
They realise that they can be able, you'll be able to talk about how they can use the layered cooking, which just makes it so much simpler. But also too, that just because they're basic cooks doesn't mean that they might not want spice rubs for their meats, or they might not want accompanying things like salads and that. So lots and lots of different ideas, and your team leader can go through all that.
And I think, so for me, myself, I'm not a cook. I actually got gifted my Thermomix because we got married and my husband said, wow, is that it? You've got lasagna and you've got pasta bake. Here's a TM6. I was like, oh, thank you. So for people who are just the meat and 3 veg, is there a reason they're a meat and 3 veg? Is it because they need something simple and that's their simple option? Or is it because they just don't have the tools that they need? So showing them how simple it is to use a Thermomix might even fill that gap of, oh, I would actually love to do risotto, but it's too complicated, so I stick to meat and 3 veg. So yeah, there's always a need, and we're always going to find it as long as we're doing our open questions. So who is feeling brave? And I'd love a newbie if possible. So anybody who is new to the company. You can do it.
I guess I'm probably about the newest one. I haven't done a demo yet, so there we
Haven't
go.
done a demo? Amazing. That's great.
And I don't think I live far from you, Dorothy. I'm in Moggle.
Oh yeah, sweet. So I'm Durack. So
Yeah.
just
Across the river.
across the way.
Yeah.
Amazing. And who is your team leader, Gwen?
Rebecca Jenner, or Kim Breeze, who's looking to become a team leader.
Oh yeah,
team
perfect.
leader.
Easy. Excellent. So what I'm going to do, you are going to be a guest. Think of a scenario, whether it is your scenario or it's not your scenario, and I'm just going to keep asking you open questions until I get to the real answer. Okay?
Yeah.
So, is it Gwyn or are we saying Gwen?
No, Gwyn.
It is Gwyn, like the color. I'm actually Welsh, so I was born in Wales. So yeah, that's just white. So Gwyn, thank you so much for coming today. I would love to know what is important to you when it comes to feeding your family.
Probably a budget. 3 big teenage boys who eat a lot of food. So yeah.
Yeah, and is
So
that
probably money.
money? Yeah, absolutely. So what would be the ideal budget for you a week?
Now you're going to stump me because we're empty nested. I don't have 3 teenage boys anymore.
Just make that up.
Say $400 a week.
Yeah, and at the moment, how are you going with that goal?
Not very well. They eat a lot.
They eat a lot? Yeah, perfect. And so do you have anything that you're currently trying? Like, is there anything that you're attempting and it's just not working?
We try to just fill them up with pasta and rice and oats and bread and things like that.
Yeah, and how does that make you feel feeding your family those kind of things?
I would prefer to feed them things that were more nutritious.
And
So
what would nutrition mean for you? So if we're talking about healthy, what kind of things are we talking?
preservative free, un minimally processed foods would
Yeah.
probably be what I would like to feed them, the healthier stuff.
Yeah. And when you're in the supermarket, is that stressful? Trying to find those
Yes,
foods?
yes, because who's got time to read all the labels?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly. So what I can hear is that we are trying to do a large quantity. We've got lots of mouths to feed. You've also mentioned that money is a big factor. So we're looking at the quantity of food, also the amount of food that's going to cost you because the price of living is really hard, and also trying to find food that isn't too expensive, that's not full of junk. Is that right?
yes.
Yeah, beautiful. So as we go through today's presentation, I'm hoping I can highlight some things that I think are really going to suit you.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you.
And then we're moving on to our next person. So if you notice, I actually asked about, I didn't even count them, maybe 6 questions. And very few, there was only one question that I slipped up on that the answer was yes or no. Okay, so if we're thinking about open questions, we don't want somebody to be able to say yes or no. We want them to be able to give us open-ended information, something that we can get our teeth into, and that we can actually explore further. So while the first thing that was said today was money, we actually got down to it, and it wasn't money. While money was one of the priorities, the biggest priority was good food and lots of it. So, what do we know about our TM7 that can help us feed a crowd? What's brand new and shiny? Anybody? You can put it in the chat. I won't make you talk out loud. I can't actually see the chats. Yeah, the Varoma. So our Varoma is now 45% bigger than it was in our previous models. So if you've got people in front of you that have previous models currently, or have had them in the past, or have seen them, that's a kind of one of those little stats that you can chuck in there. Did you realize that now with the new design, we can actually fit 2 whole chickens in this Varoma? People say, no way, no. You could be like, yeah, way. And you can actually show them that. So depending on what meal you are cooking, if you are doing the curry with the cauliflower rice, that's the only demo dish that we have at the moment that's using that Varoma. If you haven't picked that today, highlight that with them. So when you get to that section, which we will get to, I promise, say, look, we haven't picked these meals today. And you mentioned about wanting to do larger quantities of food and making them with fresh food. And that's where the Varoma is really going to come in for you. So giving them that information. So let's put that back. How did everybody find that? Do you want to run through another one? I can go all night. Feeling okay? Beautiful. So what's important to you? So that layer, those layers of questions is what we're going to do for each and every person. So again, like we did at the beginning, why are you here? We're going to do what's important to you, and you're going to get a grasp on who is in front of you and why they need a Thermomix. It's a lot of information to remember, and I understand that. But try your best. If you are somebody who needs to continue sharing, can you see my slides again? Are they back?
Yeah, still good.
So if you are somebody who needs to write notes, that's okay. We're only human. You can even explain to people, look, this is my first demo. Like, I'm so excited to be here, and I really want to make sure that I remember everybody's stuff. Take a notebook, even have it behind your Thermomix every now and again. Get a drink of water, write a note. Nobody's marking you. And you will find a lot of people at demos have never been to one before, so they don't know what to expect. They don't know what's right. They don't know what's wrong. Nobody's going to tell you that you're not doing enough. So our next slide is the price. So making sure we're saying it confidently. We're not ashamed of the price that it is because we know the value and the investment. Letting them know how much it is before we get into everything stops people from being surprised. I actually met a fella at the roadshow this weekend, and he goes, "Oh, they're like $3,000, aren't they?" And I said, "Not for you today, sir. I'm going to give it to you for 2,649." And he laughed because that's the kind of banter that we're looking for. Before we even get to this slide, you could ask the question, does anybody know how much a Thermomix is? Yeah. Again, asking that question, getting people involved. So for this slide, I'll be like, everything that you can see is included. Everything I've brought today is the standard inclusions. You don't need extra equipment. This is what we start with. Anything extra is a bonus, and those ones come later. So flexible payment options, we'll get to those as we go through, but I will let you know now the best way to get one is to earn one, and we can talk about that when we get to the slide. So planting that little seed, did you know you could get one for free? Leaving it at that. We're not going into stats, we're not going into T's and C's, we're just putting it out there for the world, and hoping somebody gets that stuck in their brain. And then when you start talking about earning, you're like, oh, wait there, I could actually do that, because they absolutely can. So here is another video. So let them know. So let's have a closer look. There's lots of ways to use your Thermomix. We've got our manual. So if anybody has a TM31 or a TM5 in the room, you can say manual is going to replicate the machine you have. Guided is going to be your cook key for your TM5 or your TM6. If you've got them in front of you, letting them know. And then we've got our beautiful mode screen, which we will go through briefly. Yeah, it's really loud. So this is actually a video, and this is one of my favorite videos. So I'm going to put it on the other screen, just because this one is, yeah, the sound is really loud. Where are we? Up. So I actually start this video, and then I stop it halfway. So this gives everybody that opportunity and say to them, hey, come on up to the screen again, and I want you to find blah, blah, blah. So today I actually used what on the screen do you already have? So people were like, oh, well, I don't have whatever that blue thing is. And I was like, oh, it's an egg boiler. They were like, oh, no, I do that in a pan. And I was like, okay. And then there was a Kenwood food processor, I think, further in the back. And they were like, oh, is that this? And I was like, no, it's a Kenwood food processor. And they were like, oh, yeah, I have one of those. I was like, okay, you don't even know what it looks like. So giving people the opportunity to see what they already have can be one of the most powerful tools to be like, wait there, I have spent all this money and I've got all this stuff in my house. I'm barely using it because I forgot that it's in the back of the cupboard, and you're about to tell me that this one magic machine can do it all. And you're going to nod and you're going to smile because it can. So there's all those things. So getting people up, getting them interactive, even asking the question, is there anything on the screen you've always wanted? Most people will say, oh, I've always wanted a stand mixer. And I'm like, why? Why would you want that? Bread makers, all those kind of things. It gives a really nice visual. And then, of course, once everybody's kind of run out of chat with that, all we're going to do is press play again. And it's going to give you that lovely animation of bringing everything together. For me, I like to give a little backing story about me. It's up to you. If you don't want to talk about yourself, you don't have to. But I like to let people know I live in a tiny house. Like my house is little. So it's a townhouse. That's my entire kitchen. And so for me, if I was to have 20 appliances all stuffed into those cupboards, I'm not going to have a pantry left. I'm not going to have room for pots and pans and all that kind of stuff. So it gives you that open-ended, what does your kitchen look like? What's important to you when you come to your home? If you have caravanners or people who like to travel, you've got a kitchen in a bag. And like that's exciting to people. So letting them know that is, oh, let's move past. So our next slide is our first dish. So does anybody know why we do Fruity Dream to start? I can't see the chat box.
That's okay. I'll let you know if something pops up.
So apart from the obvious, having dessert before dinner, does anybody know why this one actually goes first? Give you 3, 2, and 1. So short answer, it's a palate cleanser. It gets people excited. I genuinely think.
But hang on, just before you go on, Brenda has said milling sugar sells Thermomixes.
Absolutely. And you know what? If you can get men in front of you, you'll have them at Icing Sugar. I had 2 TM5 and a TM6 owner in front of me today, and both of them were like, oh, Icing Sugar? I was like, you have one. Why did you buy it? And it just shows the power of a demo. So don't discount finding owners to host demos for you, because although they may not be the sale, they're going to learn, they're going to become raving fans, and they're going to tell each and every person that they've ever met how incredible it was to have you in their home. So with our Fruity Dream, it takes technically 5 minutes. So 5, 10 minutes, and they're going to have a frozen dessert in their hot little hands, enjoying something sweet. So what that's really showing us is how simple and quick our Thermomix is and how easy it is for anybody to do. So while it tastes great and it is fast, we're also doing our palate cleanser. That's what it says in the book. But they're also getting that really quick, short satisfaction, because the next time that they eat after their Fruity Dream, we're looking at the very end of the 2 hour period. So they've probably sat down for about 15, 20 minutes at this point, depending on how much chat you've had. So they're already ready for some food. So it's going to satisfy and tick a lot of boxes. So this is where I go a little rogue. So you can see the button there. If you clicked on that button, it would actually take you directly to manual cooking. This is really a personal preference, and I know like everybody's got their way of doing things. For me, if I've got non-owners in front of me, the first thing that I want them to do is quick, easy, and mindless. So I actually go a little rogue here and I make the first person get up. So what I do, I actually allocate in my head to start with who is going to do what dish based on what they've told me. So if you have got somebody in front of you who has young children, somebody who has said quick, somebody who likes desserts, then the Fruity Dream is going to be the perfect match for that allocation. So I would say, hey, Gwen, you mentioned that you wanted to feed a crowd. Why don't you do Fruity Dream for me today? And I'll actually show you how I can make 8 serves of this ice cream in 10 minutes. How does that sound? Get them up to do it. So for me, I get them to press the search. I get them to write in Fruity Dream themselves, and I get them to do the guided recipe. Again, completely personal preference. All of your starter packs have the Fruity Dream cards in them. And if we're going by the book, you're going to press manual mode. You're going to give out those cards to each person. You're going to have one person reading, one person putting food in, and everybody else on looking. Again, totally personal preference how you want to do that. Once you've got your Fruity Dream done, then you're going to serve it immediately. Okay. So the best combination we've found for Fruity Dream, and this is part of what you're going to be telling your host to bring, is a combination of mango and some sort of berry. The mango makes it really, really smooth, breaks up all the pulp and the fibers in your berries, and it gives you a perfect froyo. So if anybody in the room into frozen desserts, describe it. We're going to make froyo, but it's dairy free. Takes us 10 minutes, no freezer involved to get eating. Okay. So making sure when you're doing your actual prac demos, make Fruity Dream, practice it at home to get that beautiful swirl. You're going to want the fruit to be frozen but not rock solid. So what we actually recommend is when you start your demonstration, bring that frozen fruit out of the freezer, and I sit mine in a thermoserver. So it's got a chance to slightly defrost, but we don't want soggy fruit. Otherwise, we're not going to get any of that frozen whip. But again, talk to your team leader when you're doing your prac training, and if you need help, reach out as well. Okay, where are we next? So at the end of every dish, there is a screen that says a little recap on what people would have learnt from the dish that we've just done. So for every dish, there are 3 modes or 3 actions that they cover, and that's why the menu matrix has been designed the way that it is. We want to show as much as we can in as little time as possible, because we want to, like back in the day, long before me, it used to be 6 dishes or something along that, and it would take hours and hours, and you'd just be doing back-to-back food. whereas now they've actually streamlined it and they've brought it down to the three. So the reason we always do Fruity Dream is because it is so quick and it is so delicious and it's impressive. Like one of the first actions you're going to get is turning raw sugar into your icing sugar, talking about the price. If there are people in front of you who have mentioned money, then of course that's going to be a value to them. If there's nobody in front of you that has mentioned cost, you could probably just not really talk about it. Give you a little example of what happened to me when I first started. I was going through my demo and I'm talking about the savings calculator and I'm talking about all the savings that people could have and why they need to buy a Thermomix up front because of like all the money they're going to save. My audience was 40 something year old mothers or like empty nesters from Corinda. And they were looking at me like, okay, because it didn't add any value to them. So asking those questions at the beginning is where we're going to find the value, and then we're going to give them little bits of value throughout. So milling, blending, whipping, what else could you use it for? Any good ideas? Apart from smoothies?
Sebastian's just put before in the chat that his microphone's bad, but he's a chef and a private chef and will help him optimize time and improve quality in my, I'm assuming that's restaurant missing, so I can offer the thermo at the events I have often. So that's, yeah, great way of being able to be able to adapt it. And I love that because we were talking in the chat, Dorothy, about some people are saying that they found the manual mode really clunky, which is true. It definitely can be true. And I can understand why people, flick over to that manual mode, but just keep in mind the same way as what you said is to gauge the room so that you know who's there. Because if you've got a proficient cook, they won't want to be told what to do. They're going to want to do it their way.
Yeah.
And manual mode is definitely the way for them to be able to see.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely knowing who needs to see what. And the only way you're going to get to them is those big questions. So who will you impress? This is a nice little seed for who will be at your next demo. Because if you can think of, if they can, you're the crowd, they can think of someone who seeing Fruity Dream is going to impress, then get them to write their name on your questionnaire. If you've got a post-it note, get them to write on that post-it note in their folders. However you're going to set up those folders, make it work for your advantage. Because the second somebody thinks of somebody who would love this, that's one guest for their demo or their next demo, and you're securing your future business. So there was a little saying, no idea who came up with it, but they said if you can think of 2 guests, then you've got a demo. If you can think of 3 guests, then you've got a business. So really going through and thinking, oh, okay, if this person has a really strong network, they could be a great person to sign up for TM for you because they're going to get their machine for free. Like how amazing would that be to change somebody's life? So we've got 2 dough modes. So depending on who you have chosen as your host is going to have chosen what they want to see. Today we did Pizza Bianca at my demo. And the way I introduced this slide was, I'll do my spiel. So spoke to Alex when we were organizing this demo, and she really wanted to see the garlic pizza, so the Pizza Bianca. So what we can do, if anybody is interested in seeing some more dough work, I can actually go through at your demo and teach you how to make bread rolls. So again, who's in front of you? Have they got young children? Have they said that they need to save money? Have they said that they just want to get better at using their Thermomix? There are people who have Thermomixes that just want to use it more, and being able to show them a technique and something new is going to bring value to them. So, I've missed a slide. So the Pizza Bianca isn't in there, but of course that's the second one. And what we do is press the basic bread rolls, and then that's going to take you to your guided cooking. So showing them the recipe card for bread rolls, showing them a little bit of detail on that. You could do it at the Fruity Dream stage as well. Try not to overwhelm people. Most people are just here for the food, but showing them that they have the ability to see the ingredients. To the prep time is how much you touch the machine. The total time is how much until you're eating. It's a really powerful tool just to give them that information. And I'll say it again, and I'm going to sound like a broken record. Who's in front of you? Have they said they are time poor? Because if they're time poor and you tell them that you could have dinner ready for them in 30 minutes, tick. If they are time poor and they want simple, telling them that they could have 15 minutes of them seeing to like touching their machine and the rest is done hands-free, that's going to give them a tick as well. Okay. So really exploring who you have and filling that. So weighing, mixing, and kneading. Again, asking the crowd, what would you use this for? Like, are you a baker? Are you somebody who can't bake? Me personally, can't bake to save my life. With Thermomix, I can literally make anything because I just follow it blindly. And that's the person that I am and why I love Thermomix. So if you have bakers in front of you, when you get to this part, they're going to be like, oh, well, I bake anyway. Ask them, how many dishes does it take to get your bread into the oven? Like, how hard is it to clean your stand mixer? How many attachments does your stand mixer need for you to get to the point that we have just done? Asking those questions. So we've got 3 dinners. So we're moving through nice and quick. Once you're doing your dough, and you've actually got it kneaded, you've rolled it into a ball, and you've wrapped it in your silicone mat or whatever you're using for the day, you can actually pop that to one side, and then we're going to move on to our mains. So hopefully you've done some prac training where you're in front of somebody and you're actually showing the cooking to kind of show that the stages where you're going to match up. But that rise time takes about 15 minutes, to up to half an hour if it's cold. But we have the luxury in Queensland that it's never really too cold. We can rise dough. So starting on your mains, how we're going to get back to our screen. So if we are in here and we've done our bread rolls, we've got all the way to the end, all you're going to do is just press back on that presentation icon and it's going to bring you back to where you were. So no matter where you've been, if you've been showing people modes, if you've gone into weekly planners, just the way the natural progression of your demo, you can always press that presentation button and it's going to come straight back to it. So 3 mains, we've got risotto. Risotto is showing quick, it's showing excellence. Most people who have made risotto know how long it takes. It's usually about 45 minutes of stirring. Me personally, never made a risotto in my life. Thermomix can make them constantly. Again, Marry Me chicken pasta. This one's a really great one for kids. My children absolutely love it. The protein's basically hidden in it. It tastes delicious, 0 jars. So when we spoke with Gwyn earlier, she said she didn't want preservatives in her food. So Marry Me chicken is going to be a great proposal for her next demo because she's got that pasta that she's feeding her children already. It's going to make one entire batch of it. So it's a decent amount of food. It's got protein in there to help them. It's got fresh veg in there to help them. And it's going to tick a lot of the boxes that she said. So what I would say is, so let's just say we're doing curry today for the sake of the meeting. So we've actually chosen the coconut creamy chicken curry. So our other 2 options for your next demo, finding something that might be more appealing to you, we have the mushroom risotto. We also have a Marry Me chicken, which is a 1-pot pasta. And so we spoke about it earlier, Gwyn, but I think the Marry Me chicken is going to be a great option. I'd love to explore that with you at the end when we make a booking. So this is our one that we're going to be doing. So our Varoma is actually going to come in today. And Gwyn, we actually spoke about the quantity of food that you wanted to provide for your family. And I'll show you how to use that Varoma to really stretch the amount of food that you can pump out in one cook, going through all the way. So when we get to the onions, so the high heat portion of any of the dishes, so for the Marry Me chicken, it's high heat capsicum, I believe. That's actually when we're going to go and start shaping our dough. So in your brain, write a note, whatever you need to do for tonight. Just think when the onions are cooking, when you've got high heat onions on, that's when we are going to start shaping our bread work. And of course, if it's not going to flow for you, that's totally fine too. Finding one of those longer cooks, so there's a 13-minute cook, and then I think there's an 8-minute cook as well. You can get those pizzas and the bread rolls shaped, getting people involved in it too. If you're not confident with bread work, get in touch with your team leader. Make sure that they're giving you that support, because that is what we are here for. We want you to go into your demo as confident as possible. So for today, we actually did pizza bianca in the curry. So my onions are cooking. I've got my pizza, my ball of dough. I've split it into half. I've pushed it with my fingers, showing them that you could roll it, like rolling pin it if you wanted, or for the more rustic cooks, stretching it out, popping on your topping, olive oil. I actually fold it in half. It makes a really nice, almost buttery garlic bread. But of course, it's whatever you do, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you want to show. So within our long cooks, this is when we're going to finish our presentation. So if there's one thing you take away from tonight, do not let people eat their mains until you have finished talking. Okay? So the second people get food in their mouth, they're switching off. No information is going on. If I'll use it's quite crass, but we're going to keep them hungry. We're going to keep them hungry for information. We're going to keep them hungry for food until you're finished talking, finish your presentation, giving them all their stuff. So the cooking center. Has anybody not got their TM7 yet? Yeah, still waiting. Have you had a dispatch? Yeah.
Yeah, it was dispatched today, I think.
Yeah, perfect. So I'll show you what the cooking center is. So just like an iPhone with a cooking center, all we're going to do is pull down from the top. Can you see that? Is it better if I stop sharing this one? Where is my, oh gosh, there you go. Yeah, so we are, so pulling down from the top, our cooking center is where we're going to get our shortcuts. So letting people know that this is actually a space that is going to evolve. If you have the Thermomix sensor, there's going to be a button in here. I actually haven't linked mine up because I don't use it often enough. But this is where we're really going to get our shortcuts and how we're going to be using our machine to its full potential. So in here, we've got timer, scales, and pre-clean. Up to this point, have you shown a pre-clean? You could show it after the dough. It's a pretty easy spot to put it. Or you might do it at the end, but letting people know that all they have to do is pull down and they're going to get straight to their pre-clean mode. Gives a little introduction about what's coming next. Okay, so where were we in terms of these? Go too far. So here, so it's saying explore our cooking center and enjoy the freedom to multitask and be in control. So the reason it's saying multitask is because when you have a recipe going, so I can't really show you, but once you have a recipe going, it'll actually have a box there that says what active recipe you have. You could also have a timer going. So you could have your food cooking, something in the oven with a timer. So a great time to use that timer is your breads. So you've got your bread in the oven. We're going to put on a timer for 10, 15 minutes, however long, and people can see both of those working in conjunction. If you have the Thermomix sensor, you could also have that third timer going. So your Thermomix is going to be the control center for your entire kitchen and letting people know everything syncs, everything sings, everything is going to notify you. And it is 3 different tunes. So if you haven't had a play, set a timer, listen to the song. And if you've got your sensor as well, obviously set that up, listen to the song. They're all slightly different. Okay, bring this one back up. So how much longer will the bread take? So that's the question. It's the prompt that's on the screen. So asking them if there are bakers, of course, because we've learned so much about the people in front of us now. Do you have a hard time with knowing when your bread's ready? It is a bit of a yes or no question. If there is anybody in front of you that has said, oh, I just like meat and 3 veg, this is a great section to come back to them and say, okay, did you know that we actually have a Thermomix sensor? And that's going to help you when you're doing your barbecuing. It's a wireless thermometer. It goes into your meat. It's actually going to tell you when the inside is ready so that you're not having to do that kind of mental math. They're like, oh, cool, seed. We've picked something else. So those are available in the mix shop. Sometimes they are host rewards. They've been here, there, and everywhere. They are about, oh gosh, somebody help me, $140, $130. Completely worth it. Bluetooth. They work from up to, I think it's like 4 meters or something from your Thermomix. So again, who's in front of you? Who needs that sensor to make their kitchen smoother? Let's play. Continue. Okay. So again, we're talking. I love to actually cover cookie dough before I bring this slide up. That's a personal preference. Some people love to tell them, this is how much it costs. Now let me show you why it's valuable. Again, up to you. What comes to mind when somebody says $89? If somebody said, the next thing I'm going to show you is going to cost you money, I would be blinkers down. No, I'm not paying for anything extra. Whereas what we can do with Cookie Doo is fill some of those needs. So for people who want to do meal planning, people who want simple inspiration, all those great stuff, Cookie Doo is going to fill those. I do actually take an iPad with me, and I show Cookie Doo on a big screen. I have a little spiel. I find 3 main features, and that's all I'm showing people. Okay. You don't want to give everybody every single piece of information that you've got in your head. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to sound like this and you're just going to be rambling on and on and on and on. You also want people to ask the questions. So giving the opportunity for them to ask you a question so that you can answer it is a really powerful tool. A lot of people, if you tell them something, they don't want to hear it. But if they ask that question to you and you're able to answer it, then they've kind of made that jump themselves and they've already got that curiosity and that interest to potentially move forward as well. So personalized recipe inspiration, find those 3 modes or those 3 features inside. So we might just, if anybody's got their favorite feature, we might pop that into the chat box. So what is your favorite feature of Cookie Doo? How has it changed your life? We might just do a quick rapid, whoever can type. Can I actually get it?
Lena and I both said shopping list.
Shopping list. Oh, I can actually see the chat. I don't know why I couldn't see that before. Okay, yep, I was absolutely wrong with the sensor. I apologize. It's too
Oh,
funny.
that's okay.
In tools for the trade, is it less than that?
It would be for the consultants, definitely, but it was
Gotcha.
just more if we get our
yeah.
subject right. But it often comes as an option for a host reward. So that's when it can often be probably around 150.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
probably where you got the figure from. That's all.
Honestly, that's what is just ingrained in my head is how much I would want to pay for one. So I actually earned mine. So if that's any inspiration for our newbies, most of the kit that I have over the last, I don't know, is it 20 months? I don't know how long I've been here. I've actually earned 2 Thermomixes. I've earned basically all of my rose gold ware. I got to Fiji and all these kind of things. So definitely,
it's interesting, isn't it? Because the money that with the commission, like after you've earned your machine, the commission's great. It's all the extra stuff that makes it even more mind-blowing, and people are always like, Kathy, are you ever here? Like, you're always traveling. Yeah, I am. I used to be in the travel industry, didn't travel this much.
No, honestly, I've had more trips in the last 2 months than I have in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
My husband's like, are you going away again? And I'm like, no, I promise I'm not. So, okay, Cookie Doo. Oh, I've lost my mouse again. Okay, this is why people don't use the chat box when they're presenting because you can't see your mouse. Anyway, is there anything good in there?
So they're just saying portions and searching by ingredient, which is great. Love to add to weekend shopping list, but also creative recipes and ability to adapt Cookie Doo recipes and add to creative recipes and add your own tips. I've just finished my booster rewards and I have so many gifts from Thermomix. Yeah, it's great, Kate, isn't it?
It felt like Christmas. Like the postman ended up like he knew me by name. He's like, "Hey, how you going?" I'm like, "Another one?" He's like, "Another one." It's a great feeling. And of course, some people's personalities aren't the stuff, and that's fine too. There's lots of other things that this business is going to do for you. Um, but yeah, it is nice. It's nice to be rewarded for your efforts.
Definitely.
So for me, my three favorite things that I do with Cookie Do is I talk about filters. So finding recipes you don't know the name of, I think is really powerful. The shopping list and ordering to Woolies. Is there anybody who didn't know that you can order directly from Woolies through the Cookie Do app?
And your search filter that you were just talking about,
Hmm.
like how to filter for things, did you see the latest tip that a lot of consultants are popping up all over Facebook? And that is
Oh,
clicking on the search bar
yeah.
and tapping your microphone and saying chicken or beef or
Uh-huh.
whatever. And you don't even need to type it in.
I didn't even notice that. I'll have to have
Yep.
a check in there. Again, I can't see the chat. I don't know if anybody's
No, there's nothing else.
nothing. No, that's fine. So yeah, you can actually compile your shopping list at a touch of a button for each one. Click off all the things that you have bought that you already have in your kitchen, you already have available to you, and then those three dots again. There's a button that says order ingredients, and within an hour, somebody could have planned the whole week, made that shopping list, ordered their groceries, and have it on the way to their door. So again, who's in front of you? Who is that going to help? Is it the mum that doesn't want to take their two kids to the shops because they end up spending more than the delivery charge on snacks? That's me.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't take my kids to the grocery shop anymore because it doesn't save me money. Going in does not save me money at all. So, yeah, having those conversations, letting people know your favorite things. And if they want more, then why not think about offering Cookie Do classes for your new customers? Yeah, get them to come to another demo, get them to do a private one-on-one, get them to do a Zoom, whatever it is that you're willing to offer the business for your customers, then let them know. Let them feel seen, let them feel wanted. And we are all here to learn.
So
Sorry,
Kate's popped in here that she's found meal planning and ordering via Woolworths has been a selling point.
yep,
I actually use the shopping list to send to my customers for the ingredients that they need for their
yeah.
demo, so that it actually they can see that it's come from Cookie Do. So it's a bit more of a, oh, I wonder where what app she's using, or wonder what, just piques that bit of curiosity.
Yeah, beautiful. Is everybody confident with what, trying to get rid of the chat box, with what ingredients you are to bring versus what ingredients you're to ask your customers to provide? Anybody? No, no idea.
If they
So
haven't been to Prac training, they probably don't know.
yeah. So with prac training, obviously, like I said at the beginning, this does not replace getting in front with your team leader and actually doing that launch demo or doing that in-person prac training because it's really important because you're going to see the flow, you're going to see timings and all those things. So asking your team leader at that point, can I have the PDF that tells me what to bring and what to ask for? Rule of thumb, if it needs to be in the fridge or the freezer, you're asking them to bring it. So everything that you are transporting is your dry ingredients. So for your dough, that's everything. You can ask them to bring garlic if you like. I personally take garlic, no problem. For your fruity dream, you are bringing the sugar. Again, if you want to bring an egg, up to you, but they can also provide that egg because it is classed as a fresh
Actually,
item.
yeah, no, don't provide the egg.
Don't
That's
provide the egg,
really bad for food safety to provide the egg. That's required for them to be able to provide that because it's a refrigerated item.
has to stay in the refrigerator. And then for your mains, there's a lot, so I'm not going to do it off the top of my head. But bringing all the dry ingredients that you would have in your pantry, it's going to serve you as a consultant to buy some of that in bulk. So if you have a Costco near you, getting things like baker's flour, salt, olive oil, all those things that cost quite a lot of money. But you want to be able to bring them with you. I have a little plastic bottle that was just like a Woolies olive oil, and I actually just top it up from my bulk. So finding the containers that you might need to be able to put in your ingredients bag so that your demos are nice and streamlined. Again, in-person pracs, ask your team leader, how do you set up your ingredients bag? How are you separating your ingredients and things like that? Because once you're confident with what you have, it's going to be a lot easier for you just to pull those three things out of your ingredients bag and start making your dishes.
The other thing, just one extra tip too, Dorothy. I know I've got a lot of consultants that are out west, and a lot of the fresh fruit and vegetables is exceptionally expensive.
Yeah.
I think there was also a time too here in town that we had really expensive. So if that's the case with the cauliflower, for example, when you're doing the creamy coconut chicken curry, then get them to provide that as well. You know, you don't have to be that paying a gold $1 million for some of the things if that's the case, but
I
you can.
actually get them to bring cauliflower anyway.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other reason that we don't get them to provide a lot of the stuff is that if you're waiting for them to weigh it all out, measure it all out, chop it all up, it's so time consuming. You just want to get in there, get out. So
Yeah.
it's definitely to our best advantage to have it all ourselves.
Yeah. And also having when you're sending your hosts their instructions, if there is chicken, telling them we need it cubed. If you've asked them to bring that cauliflower, say, hey, like, can we get it in florets? Can you chop it up? So that when you arrive, you're 10, 15 minutes early before your demo starts. You're not mad rushing trying to get everything prepped. Being transparent and being like giving people instructions is what we actually need, and it's going to pay off for everybody. So
Right.
our next, sorry, was that somebody?
I'll just interrupt for a second.
Yes.
In regard to the chicken curry, I noticed there was a lot of ingredients that consultants were meant to bring.
Mhm.
I must admit, I was like, why do we have to bring all that? I mean, I bring the things that I don't think a lot of people would have in there, like ginger and obviously the curry paste and all that sort of stuff. But I change it and give them a little bit more to bring, like the cauliflower and stuff. So is that not it's not
It's,
the
yeah.
right the wrong thing?
No, it's not the wrong thing. It's just more that, so in the coconut chicken curry, the paste, obviously I make a batch and freeze it. So it's then really convenient to take one portion, like I actually
Yeah.
have it frozen. So having that there. Then the only other thing is the coconut cream, which is a tinned item. So I normally take that because again, it's measured out. So I actually measure mine, split it all up and put it into the freezer. I suppose the thing that we're not wanting them to do or to feel is that they're having to provide a million ingredients when perhaps they don't even have a Thermomix yet. But you play it by ear with, you know, how you gauge it yourself too. Like you don't want to be. So what else apart from the cauliflower? Because that's a common one. We often get them to provide that. What
Yeah.
other things is it
I
then?
mean, I provide the ginger because often a lot of people don't have ginger. Typical people will have garlic, so I let them do the garlic. I will bring the almond meal because obviously a lot of people don't have that. So things that most pantries probably don't have, I'll bring along. But anything that's a fairly regular item, I actually get them to bring along.
Yeah. And it's whatever you feel most comfortable with. Like I take olive oil because it's
I
just
take olive
convenient.
oil.
I take salt because it's just
Oh,
convenient.
yeah.
But yeah, it's really up to you. When I send my messages, I've probably got maybe, is it like three or four things for the main dish? And
Yeah.
for me, that doesn't feel overwhelming. And the feedback that I get from people is that, oh, is that all I need? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, for the
Yeah.
risotto, I'm going to bring the rice. I'm going to bring, all you need is the mushrooms and the parmesan or whatever it is. So yeah, figure out what you feel comfortable with, more or less. Again, nobody's marking you.
And don't forget it's a tax deduction against your earnings too. So
Yeah, I mean,
these things.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
What I struggle with sometimes, and you just mentioned it before, is even though I tell them, can you please prepare it, like chop it into these pieces or have it all prepared, 9 times out of 10, they don't do it.
Which is why I say take it.
Because
Take as much as you can apart from the cold stuff because I really don't want to be,
Yeah.
and I often give them the tip that if they go to a butcher, the butcher will often cut the chicken up because that's what I do, and they often don't charge for that. And our butcher's actually cheaper than Woolies. So, you know, mentioning that often gets them to think, oh, I don't like chopping chicken, which is sometimes the reason why they don't do it. Whereas you get the butcher to do it, then it's done. And always let them know that if they can't stand thighs to get the breast, but they need to cut it a lot bigger, otherwise it'll shred.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did one on Saturday and I got there. I mean, I got there 20 minutes as I do and all the rest of it. And I noticed that all of the groceries and stuff were still in packets.
Yeah, that's right. Again, that's why it's so much easier when you can get yourself organized for prepping. I often used to do, one weekend where I'd have 3 or 4 demos. So I'd prep the Friday night or the Saturday morning, having it all ready to go. It doesn't feel like much. Whereas if you're standing there for an extra 25 minutes, getting them all weighed out at the other end, it's a long time to be in their kitchen, is how I feel.
Well, and I often think, why am I cutting this up with? And usually they're blunt knives, and
Exactly.
sometimes their cutting boards are like questionable.
So one of the ways I get around that is when we first get there, if you're turning up a little bit earlier and you say to them, have you got the chicken prepared? Oh, no, I haven't done that. Great. While I start setting this, the Thermomix and everything up, can you cut them into and then explain to them the size? And they'll often then do that. It's just often that you've just got to, step them through it.
Yeah,
Giving them the instructions, being clear.
often they will say to me, I just wasn't sure if I was going to do it right.
Yeah.
Their explanation, or that they're a bit afraid if they don't cut it right.
So a way around that would be cook it for dinner one night next week, take a photograph of how the size that you want things and send that through as a text. So this is how I need the chicken. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I never thought of that.
Yeah. Okay. No,
Or-
excellent. I didn't realize that you had to, but I'm now experiencing that. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a big learning curve, and trust me, I don't know if any of you noticed, but I was taking notes because the things that Dorothy talks about are not things that I've always done, and I've been around for 11 years. So you're always learning. When people say, "Oh, I've already done that," or "I've been to so much training," you've never been to enough training.
Absolutely not.
We're always learning.
And lucky for you guys, I go rogue. So
I wasn't cringing too much, Dorothy.
Oh, I don't know. When everybody said that they were going to come observe, I'm like, oh no.
No, you've done very well.
Thank you. So a couple more slides. So again, we are still cooking. If we are at the end of our we're still going with our curry or our mains or whatever we're doing, the timer may actually go off and say that there is a stage done. You'll be able to click on the done banner. It comes up as a little green like end of time or whatever it is. Click on that, do the next stage, come back to your presentation. So your presentation is far more important because it means you have covered every base. You haven't left the opportunities out, because each one of these slides is actually giving you an opportunity for a sale, for another demo, for a recruit. So making sure that you are doing your demonstration because at the end of the day, that's why you're there. Okay. So this slide is called Design Your Demo. So I like to say, because I've done lots of seeds as we go through about what you'll have at your demo the next time we meet, blah, 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 blah. I've said, so start spiel. So we've talked a lot about what we're going to cook the next time that you have a demo. So we have those alternate breads for you. We also have those other meals. So the reason we have our demos is because they are to teach you the techniques, if they are the owner, the techniques you want so that your journey doesn't stop after today. As consultants, it's really important for us that we know that our customers are learning and they are loving their machines, and we don't just disappear after the sale. This is my segue into our next one. So your journey starts with me. So like I've just explained, I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me forever. Okay. So I am here to support you. I'm here to give you those customized demos because it's important to me that you are out there sharing your love of the Thermomix that you've just invested in. If there is anything that isn't on our menu matrix that you would love to know, whether it's a different technique, whether it's a different type of dish, then we can talk about that at the end and we can design your demo to match what you're after. So being a team leader in our area or being a consultant in our area is a great thing for our customers because we have so many teams that are doing incredible online and in-person cooking classes. So if you are somebody, talking to my crowd again, if you are somebody who wants to get your hands touching the machine, if you're wanting to see new techniques, if you are somebody who is looking for excellence, those cooking classes, you'll often see they're actually called master classes, are going to give that person the value of their investment because they're going to go to a cheese making class or they're going to go to a Greek cuisine class, or we had one at the head office which was French patisserie. So all of these really niche but really impressive things, that's where their value is going to come in because it doesn't end today. You've got so much more to offer because you're a great consultant and you are here to serve them. So letting them know. Inspirations and tips, I like to say, look, if you decide that Thermomix is for you, actually, I'll rephrase that. When you decide that Thermomix is for you, I want you to send me a text every night if you need, asking me what my favorite rice is, asking me what my favorite dinner is, because I'm here to help you, and I want to be contacted. I want to be part of your journey, and I've got more inspiration and tips that I can give. So please use me because that's my job now. Your Thermomix your way. So I would love to go around the guests today. Ask, what did you love? Was there anything that really surprised you? So for our pre-owners, so if they've got older models, what surprised you? Because for them, time, temperature, speed is nothing new. They already know that. They already know what a Thermomix does. They already know how it works. But what has surprised them is going to get them to think a little bit like, I was actually quite taken aback that you can search on the screen. You looked at a couple modes earlier. Oh, I have a TM31 pre-clean. That's so cool. So asking them what did they love, what surprised them, whatever the language that you feel comfortable with. Another question on here is what would you make first? So in your paperwork, and I apologize, I haven't actually gone over the questionnaire much tonight, but definitely reach out to your team leader if you're struggling with your questionnaires, because all of the answers to these open-ended questions end up getting put on that paper. So if you've got people in front of you that are giving you nothing, they don't know what their THEM is, they don't know, they're just not giving you anything. When you get to that slide, you're going to go over question 2. And question 2 is THEM. They're going to tick that box, tell them what their priority is. For this one, this is actually our green section. Is there a green pen on this page? Your face is
It doesn't look like there is, but I thought there was on the actual machine.
So these slides are actually from transition training.
Oh, then
So
no.
the pens came in later.
Yeah.
So I'll find that.
Yeah.
And I'll show you them. So getting them to fill in that part. What would you make in your Thermomix? Is it yogurt? Because we've talked briefly about how you can ferment. Is it main meals? Is it bread? Do you want to become a baker? Do you want to do sourdough? What is it? Getting them to write that down in that green section. And also, what's next for you? Really nice segue on how you're going to get your Thermomix on your bench. So I understand as a newcomer, it is really hard to think, you know what, I'm going to give a sale away today because I want them to be a consultant. And I can say, hand on my heart, it took me becoming a team leader to get really good at this. But it is in your best interest. Like if there is somebody in front of you that the only way they're going to get their Thermomix is if they can earn it and get a discount, then it was never a sale to begin with because they don't have that money. They don't have it. So for you, you are going to be financially supported by them earning. And you're also going to form connections with people, grow our beautiful community, help your area, because the more consultants, the more chat, the more activity, the more Thermomixes we all sell. So if you are feeling nervous about recruitment, again, talk to your team leader, blah, 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 blah.
Think back to how you started.
Exactly. And who introduced you to Thermomix? Like, did you recruit yourself? I recruited myself.
I did myself.
And honestly, a lot of it comes down to you were just never
I did
asked.
too.
Yeah. So don't take that opportunity away from someone because I met a lady today and she was just like, oh, look, I would upgrade, but it'd have to be on a really big special. I'm like, what's more special than $650 off if you make one sale? Like, that's huge. I don't think there's ever been a trade-in that's even been that much.
Mm.
So it's a really great opportunity with TM for you to get people to inquire, express their interest. They're not signing on the dotted line on that day. Getting them, if they are interested, get them to talk to your team leader. We're going to be able to run them through it. So,
Can I just add one little thing there about because I've had 2 recruits and it's been quite new for me, but I had done a presentation in August and they ran back and said, and I was telling them about how I really, really wanted 3 sales to get the hardcover thing. And that was just something I was talking to them about. They rang back and said, guess what? You've got your 3 sales. And instantly I went, you know what? You could actually earn your own Thermomix by just having your sales. And I explained it to them and all the rest of it. That woman has been so grateful. She goes, I cannot believe that you gave up your sales to give me an opportunity to become a consultant.
And how beautiful, because she's going to be telling that story. She's going to say, you know what? I have a consultant who I'm now working alongside that that gave me this opportunity, and now look where I am. And honestly, if that person doesn't just earn and leave, they're probably going to be in the business for the next 10 years because you did that for them. So that's so special.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that just
Mm.
as a thing to other consultants that are starting out, going, you might think, oh my God, I'm giving away a sale, but in fact, you're doing so much more.
Mm. So earning, there are some branch. So Tess Sanko is our estate manager. She's actually doing some incredible recruitment Zoom classes. So if it's something you're not feeling overly confident about, register for one of those. I'm sure the calendar is somewhere for you guys to access. If somebody can even find it now, pop it in the
Pop it
chat.
in
That'd
the
be
chat.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we are a direct selling business, and it is important that we get a Thermomix into every house. Are you going to be able to touch every house in your suburb? Probably not. And if you are, then I'm impressed. So 3 ways to pay. We've got earn, we've got full payment, and we also have our finance options. So in your folders, pardon me, or even separate, have those like the T's and C's and everything printed for Zip. Have them printed for Hum and keep them with you. Don't bother giving them away. If anybody wants them, you could probably email it, save yourself on the printing. But having those options in front of people, that might be what is going to be able to get them that Thermomix. Most people don't have a spare $2,649. And if they do, then they're not going to go for finance anyway, because they've already made up their mind. But those finance options are going to open up the ability to have that time saver, have that health maker, have that excellent machine, or that money saver. It's going to help us all. So finance options, again, if you're not completely all over it, in the asset library, all of those PDFs are there. Have a look at them. Make sure that you are aware that they exist, because if you don't offer something, obviously nobody can take it. And then this very last slide. So I'm torn on this last slide, I'll be very honest. I like to talk about everything that the business has done for me. I don't know if this is the textbook thing to do on this slide. For me, obviously, I've had a lot of fun today. So being a consultant is more than just an income. It has its financial benefits, but you do end up meeting people. You learn so much more about your Thermomix. I have just come back from Fiji for 3 nights, fully paid for by Thermomix, and I have earned incentives every month since I started. Blah, 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 blah. Kathy, do you have anything that you'd do for this last slide? Because I feel like it's a lot that we covered, but
Yeah, most of the time it's more just reiterating all those wonderful things that we just spoke about just before. Being able to learn it and having something. I always say to my new consultants, if you don't have the experience to add something, you can borrow somebody else's experience until you get it. So it could be that one of my consultants might say, my team leader's done so much travel and she used to work in the travel industry. Like, that's borrowing my story, but that's okay because they don't have that experience yet to be able to say I've traveled with Thermomix. But it's really about reiterating exactly what benefits we can. It's not just the money, it's all of that stuff, and that as consultants you get to share that with everybody.
yeah, beautiful. Okay, so that is actually the last slide. So then it says close demo, you close your demo, and then it is time to eat. So it feels like you've been talking forever. I promise when you're actually doing it, people are talking back to you. It's not just you yabbering on. Unless you're me, then you probably are. So once people are dishing up, you're going to want to let them know, hey, just before you start your food, like I'm gonna come around and just go through your paperwork. So again, I'll be very transparent and very honest with everybody. I was so bad at paperwork when I first started, and I've only just got good at it because I was too timid to make people write on paper. And you're probably thinking, you timid? Oh, what? But I didn't want to make people do work. I felt embarrassed almost that I was asking them to fill out this paperwork. At the end of the day, they don't know what they don't know. And if you say, hey, could you just fill out section 1 for me? What's the worst that could happen? They say no. Oh, well. But most people, they're there to see a Thermomix, they're there for the presentation, they're going to fill it out. And if you can collect all that information on that guest questionnaire, then you have a record of what everybody needs from you. So whether it is that first question with their THEM, they've already ticked it for you. You can then mentally remember who they are. In the green section, they've wrote some recipes that they would love to see. Could you cover that in their next demo? Could that be a one-on-one? Could that be you sending them a collection from Cookie Doo at your follow-up call saying, hey, I remember that you said you would really love to try yogurt in your TM7. I apologize, yogurt in your TM7. Then you've remembered something about them. That's going to make them feel valued. It's going to make them feel heard. And what did you have to do? Ask them to fill out the question. And look, you're coming out smelling of roses and they're feeling seen. So getting people to fill those out. The very last section is about how they want to be contacted next. If there is nothing in that, or is it yellow? Yellow section, then you don't know what they need from you. So you're either going to assume that they never want to talk to you again and you've missed the opportunity to give them their opportunity, or you're going to, yeah, that's really it. You're missing the opportunity. So getting them to fill it out. If you go around to them and you look at their paperwork and they haven't filled it out, say to them, hey, you actually haven't ticked one of these boxes. For me, best to understand how you want to be contacted, like, how are you feeling? There was something I actually learned at not transition training, at the training that I just came from last week. And she was actually a direct seller for another company. And she was like, you can do a technique called the yes, 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 yes options or something. She gave it a name. And basically, you're going to focus on 3 questions. You're going to give them 2 questions that they're going to say yes to. And then the third question is going to be about that last section. So a little example. Hey, did you enjoy today's demo? Yeah, I did. It was really nice. Excellent. And we spoke about lots of about what you need in your kitchen. Can you see the benefit of the Thermomix for that? Yeah, I can actually. That's really great. And then one of the examples they gave, they were like, okay, so if you were ready to order your Thermomix, would you be looking at paying on card or would you be looking at finance options? You're not making them make a choice, but you're giving them an idea of, oh, I could actually imagine myself paying for this. If they turn to you and say, no, I'm never going to be able to afford one, you just be like, okay, thank you so much for letting me know. Would you like me to stay in touch? Giving them that option. If they say, oh, I don't know, I'll think about it, say to them, in the next couple days, whether it's tomorrow, whatever your time frame is, but making sure you're doing that follow-up in 48 hours. I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow. If you've had any questions between now and then, we'll be able to answer them, just me and you on the phone. How does that sound?
And
Yes, that would
another
be.
little tip as well too, Dorothy, is that if they say, oh, it's not really for me, and you really want to know whether that means never or just not now, ask them that. Say, just so I can not hassle you or anything, is it not now or not never? because often they will say, oh, it's just not now because we're putting a new kitchen in, or
Everybody's
because we're buying-"
renovating.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how many people are renovating.
It is, isn't it?
If only they
I
knew that the kitchen, the Thermomix would make a benefits for them not having a kitchen while they're renovating it.
and you know, sometimes I bring that up. If people talk
Yeah,
renovating, I'm like, how good would it be to be able to have your kitchen in your living room while you
yeah,
haven't got your kitchen installed?
that's right.
Like you're going to be saving money on food, you're going to be saving money on takeout. Could that benefit you? So looking at that yellow section, looking at what actual options are there, one of them is I would like to learn more. I don't know the exact word, but I'd like to learn more about joining the business. And you can say to them, so we have a couple of options. I can submit a form to my team leader. They can give you a call and then they're going to give you some more information. You don't have to know every single information about everything, and that's why team leaders exist to be able to for you to pass on those details. So giving them that option. What else is on there? Paying with finance is on there. So if somebody says about finance options, again, you've already got those flyers printed, ready to go. You can give the options to them, letting them know, of course, it is subject to their credit. If they like, we can't make promises, they have to do the application and they have to know that that is part of it. Paying in full, not yet. I think there's about 6. Do you have one in front of you?
I do.
Hey.
The yellow bits is I'd like to join and earn my Thermomix. I'm ready to order my Thermomix now. I want my Thermomix, my own Thermomix demo. I'd like to hear about payment options and I'm still deciding. Let's stay in touch.
Yeah.
One thing I actually do, because I got so sick of printing and then having to throw stuff out, I actually stopped. This is just me, everyone's different, but I actually stopped printing a lot of the extra bits and pieces. And that's a way for me to say, I'll send it to you. And then they've got my name saved because I'll say, hi, it's Kathy from Thermomix. The reason I always say that is so that if they're in 6 months, 12 months' time, they can search Thermomix and up will pop my chat. So that's where you have those
And
benefits.
that's by text message.
Yes,
Yeah.
via text message, yeah. Because I find people just often with emails will just put them straight into spam, whereas a text message is right there. And, you know, having your contact card on there to be able to share as well, it makes it nice and easy. Then they can save it if they want to. So it's a good way of being able to not have to print half a tree every time we have a change in design.
Yes. So, yeah, that's basically all we've got to cover. I would love if you wanted to jump off mute and ask a question. We've probably got about 5 minutes until I said I would be finished, but of course I can stick around and answer anybody's questions if you have them. Thanks for everybody who's still here. It's a long thing. I understand that.
I scored you 10 out of 10, Dorothy.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. If everybody could just go tell Tanya how great I am, that'd be great.
I did get flashes of Tanya through your presentation. I'm
Did
like,
ya?
oh, you can so see you're one of Tanya's, which is good. Like, that's so good.
I will absolutely take it. Tanya's who I want to be when I grow up. So
I'm sure there's going to be tendencies in my presentation when I can become a team leader the same. There'll be
yeah.
noticeable traits.
Yeah, definitely.
So for what we did do, because I started the recording late, if we go back to this screen, just for anybody watching how to get that demo up, all I'm doing is, there we go, holding my thumb in that bottom corner and just holding it and holding it and holding it until the screen pops up.
You know, I did a trainee demo with my recruit on Sunday, and he being a male, he had so much trouble trying to get that to start.
So diagonally, I have found is the best. If you go straight on, it's I don't know. I feel like you just have to close your eyes and hope for the best.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you are having trouble and it's absolutely not coming up, it may just be you need to hard power off, hard bring it back up. Might just be a glitch. But yeah, across the corner, so say this is your corner, getting it really diagonal on is the best way that I've found that it actually works.
yeah. I mean, it worked for me on his, but it wasn't working.
Oh,
for
it was
him.
his thumb.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck. Excellent. Did anybody have a question? I can see the chat box, but you're more than welcome to come up. But yeah, any newcomers that found something good? Is there anything that stood out for you that you are excited about? Nada. That's great. Anyway, so
Always say, but just don't overwhelm yourself. Just take one little bit and then just keep coming back. I'm sure, are they right to see this again in the recording or, yeah.
So I will actually be holding this same session. Obviously the back and forward is going to be changing each time that people are on, but I'm actually doing this every fortnight. So as part of the Western Suburbs, basically the three of us in the Ipswich zone, we've kind of got like a rotating events so that I'll be doing some online things where you can come back and ask questions and go over anything you're not quite sure about. Then we've got some in-person ones for people in our area as well. And also like cooking classes and online demos. So
You'll find that with each of the team leaders from around your area. So if you're not in that area, it's all good. We'll be doing this.
We'll find out. This one is going to be open to anybody though. So if it is something that you need, you can, I can put my mobile number in the chat if anybody wants to contact me directly. Otherwise, yeah, I am on the South Queensland and all that stuff. So you can find me on Facebook.
That's excellent because, like I said, I did a demo training prac thing on Sunday, and I encouraged him to. You need to watch it. You need to watch other people do demos as well because you're going to get different things from the way different people, and some presentations may suit you better than.
And there might be some language that I've come up with tonight that just doesn't fit. Like it doesn't suit your personality. I like to crack a joke. I'd probably, yeah, like I've said, I'd probably talk too much. But if you can find your rhythm and your groove with the demo, that's all you've got to do. There's no marking. Nobody's going to tell you off if you don't want to do.
But that's what I mean. So when I'm training someone, how I present may not actually suit how they need to present, if you know what I mean. So I think I always would encourage them to watch other people.
Yeah, and getting good at those questions, and listening to the questions that you're actually asking. Are you asking yes, no questions? Are they closed? Are people only able to give you that yes, no? Or are you opening it broad enough and letting people actually tell you what they want? Sometimes asking and then just saying nothing. Don't fill the gap. Let them think. Let them process what you've asked.
I think one of the hardest transitions as a new consultant, especially if they're raving fanatics about a Thermomix, right? They just want to
give it all.
blurt, and rave about how wonderful it is. And I keep on saying you need to hold back.
Yeah, so one of the first things that Tanya taught me was wait. So WAIT, and it's why am I talking?
Yeah.
Why are you talking? Are you filling gaps? Are you trying to make people comfortable? Because I promise you it's not working. Or are you nervous that they're not going to be able to answer you?
Well, and also you're overwhelming them with so much information that they're just like, whoa, like.
So letting the Thermomix actually be your presentation is great. Letting them see that is why they are here. That is the show. It's not you. You're there to ask the questions and answer questions. Yeah.
That's what I said to him. I said, you need to concentrate. Machine is going to actually sell.
Yeah.
Pretty much sell the demonstration. You just need to hold back.
So there is an incredible book, and I've just put it in there. I don't know if it's Alan or double L. It might be.
I've read that. And I need
to
send it to him that says the questions are the answers.
Questions are the answers. So Alan Pease, it's a 30-minute audio book. And it is I listened to it back to back. I think I did about maybe 3 hours of just listening to it on the loop.
It's great. I've listened to it as well. And I think that actually should be part of the toolkit for new consultants.
Well, for Tanya, it absolutely is. You come into her team, she's like, read the book. So if anybody is struggling with that open-ended questions and you need something, then it's called Questions Are the Answers by Alan Pease. He is a body language expert, and he basically started direct selling when he was a preteen, door knocking, selling sponges. and became one of the highest direct selling earners wherever he lived. So definitely a great resource. But yes, I will let you go. It is 2 minutes past 9. Thank you
Well
so
done,
much
Dorothy.
for everybody coming. I really appreciate the support. Thank you, Kathy, for helping me along the way.
You worry.
And all our other beautiful members who either came to look or learn. But I appreciate you.
Thanks, Dorothy.
Thanks, Dorothy. It was
Amazing.
amazing.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Dorothy.
You're
Cheers.
welcome. Let's stop.